In this video, I want to do just a straightforward walkthrough of the application. You hear about 11 pages. I'm going to take this down to 3. Okay, so I'm eliminating 8 pages. Those are kind of the instructions. But the important thing, when you look at a normal application, you start at the front of 11 pages and you work through it, filling it out. You know, and today, Debbie and Laura's here with me. I'm going to do a quick 30,000-foot overview of the application, and then later on we'll do an example. If we can look here at the screen, what I want to do is here are the 3 pages. So I start down the application. So it comes down, and we get down to right here. I'll put this pin right there. So this is general information at the top. When we get about halfway down the page, it says payroll and non-payroll cost, line 1 of the payroll cost. So the first thing I do, I go to write a number in. It says CPPP Schedule A, line 10. All right, I'm going to stay right there with that pin, and I'm going to go over to the second page, and I'm going to go down to line 10 right here. So I'm moving from the red pen to the black pen to line 10. But there it says add line 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So now, in order to get to 10, I got to move my pen up here and start with line 1. Is this a game? Mm-hmm. Line 1, it says enter cash compensation box 1 from PPP Schedule A worksheet, table 1. Well, you're in luck. I have another pen. So here we go. So at table 1, what are we going to do there? And the other thing I want to say here, I'm going to move this pen back. If you notice, this is PPP Schedule A. Then we have PPP Schedule A worksheet. So what happens is we've come over here to line 10, we were at, from the first page, and there's a section here that's PP Schedule A worksheet table 1, and then there's a section for table 2, and then there's one for owners. And so when you get over here, so we're back up here to line 1, we're going to go over here and fill out table 1. That's our employees and our compensations. So we've got compensation, and then we've got the FTEs. So that's the 2 big things we need from table 1. So we get table 1 totaled up. We come back over here. We fill out PPP Schedule A, the information we got from the worksheet. Because line 2 says, let's go to table 1. Both those, again, are compensation and FTEs. All right, we're done with that. So let's move on down our sheet. It says PPP Schedule A worksheet table 2, and we're going to go again here to line 4. Line 4 says PPP table 2, which is, and Debbie, just so to break up my conversation, table 1 is for all of our full-time employees. It's for employees. Tell me about table 2.
Table 2 is going to be for your employees that get paid over $100,000 per year.
Yeah.
They want those separated out. So I think just so they can make sure that the cap gets put on them.
2 things. One's a cap, and I think the other thing is that we don't backdoor it over in the payroll.
Right.
So in table 1, we know nobody's over 100,000.
Right.
But they may be part-time or full-time, but we separate and again,
Yes.
the reason is, as you said, is to cap it. So then we're going to go and fill out the rest of, I'm back to the PPP Schedule A worksheet. And we're going to go down, and our information there, again, comes from table 2 of Schedule A worksheet. Continuing on down then, we're going to, on line 9, do owner's compensation. We'll put that in there. That's separate too. And again, what's some of the big reasons why they want the owner compensation? You know, when we did the application over in step 1, it didn't, payroll included owners. Here on this application, they have they've separated the owner from the employees. They've separated this owner's compensation. You know, and Debbie, what's some of the reasons why they would have done that when in the application for the loan, they didn't really separate it, but now in the application for the forgiveness, they do separate it.
Depending on what type of entity you are, your owner's compensation may or may not be payroll. So this has to be a completely separately stated item. Otherwise, if they try to double check your numbers with your payroll reports, they're not going to add up.
And Laura, in step 2, when we did that the other day, we got into what the difference was in the entity types, how that, the wages for the corporations, the C Corp and the S Corp, we would look at those. But for the self-employed people, the independent contractors and the partners was a very different calculation. So that's why, again, we've kind of set you up for this to be able to get that right answer. So now we have completed the 3 sections. We've completed the Table A from Worksheet A. We've completed Table 2 section on Schedule A from the Worksheet Schedule A. We've put in the compensation to owner, so we got the 3 factors of our payroll. We're going to total that on line 10, and at that point in time, then we're going to take that number back to line 1. Okay. So, Debbie, is it okay that I eliminate one of these sheets? Are we done with this?
Not quite.
Well, we're going to have to go back and look at safe harbor rules.
We do. And so that is this worksheet. You're going to still need the bottom of this worksheet to make sure you get your FTEs, but that's calculation will be discussed later.
Okay. So now we're ready to start to proceed down to line 2 on page 1. And there you're going to get what we call the other expenses. We're going to have mortgage interest. That's covered mortgage interest, covered rent or lease payments. And line 4 is covered business utilities. Okay. Again, those we covered in step 2 as far as definitions. Now we come on down, adjustments for full-time equivalents. And this section here, Debbie, is really, without getting too far, it's where we go back over to the worksheet. And in this case, we have to kind of do this, not on the worksheet. We kind of have to do our own numbers.
Yes.
So what happens is that when we look at line 5, 6, and 7, we're going to end up going back over to the worksheet. I'm kind of pointed over there, but it's going to be your Excel spreadsheets. And that's what we do for our clients is work on this. At that point in time, to kind of wrap this up, here's what we get to is the question of the hour. How much is my debt forgiven? I don't care what answer you get as long as it's all. Okay. But what I really want to do here, and so I'm going to remove these and I'm going to move this here in the center for, again, the final answer, whatever, is we're going to look at line 8, 9, and 10. Line 8 is modified of the total above. Well, what the form doesn't tell you, line 8 is our qualified expenses under the covered period, whether it's 8 or the law changes to 16 or the law changes to 24. So it's the actual expenses. It doesn't tell you about, but that's what it is. Line 9, the PPP loan. So you can't get more forgiven than the loan. Okay. So you'd say at this point in time, I'm done because my PPP loan was determined in step 1. Step 2, we spent all the money to get to line 8, but that's not the lesser of the 2. Line 10 is a sleeper. And I think this is why the legislation may change, because what happens is payroll costs 75% required. Divide line 1 by 0.075. So what happens is you could actually meet all the safe harbors and FTEs. You could spend all the money, or you would not spend all of it, but maybe you didn't spend the 75% in payroll. This line here is going to restrict you. So with all the safe harbors, line 10 could, in many cases, become the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the tests, again, we do at the office. As we accumulate payroll, we're still going to do this factor. So the end result of this 11-page application that we've reduced to 3 pages as this overview is it comes down to line 8, how much did I spend in the covered period? Line 9, the PPP loan that I did in step 1 of our 4-step, maximizing our debt forgiveness. And then finally, this 0.75 as a divider. But my point here is that is the limit nobody's checking. Mm-hmm. So anytime you do this, you need to check it. So what we've done at the office, we've set up spreadsheets to where we're actually real-time calculating for clients, or we're helping our clients do the calculation. But we have to keep in mind that 75%. So now that we've done the overview of the application, I think I may have misstated earlier when I said later in this video we're going to do an actual live straight step through in actual numbers. That's actually a video that follows this. And, Debbie, I think you're going to be doing most of that video on a live. We start with 5 people, we end with 5 people, but it's actually how to number crunch what we just did. Mm-hmm. And remember, at the time you're watching this video, this is an overview, and this is still going to be the concept. It appears to be. I was up late last night reading the House bill, the Senate bill, but it appears to be this process that we just walked through, and the example Debbie will do later will not change. It may be, again, there may be a covered period expanded. The numbers on the 75-25 in both bills are going to change, but the worksheets you'll still be able to use. And finally, we don't know, with so many clients we have, that their covered period is ending right now, and literally the law could not change in time for that. So we have to do this based on the covered period. I hope this helps. Please subscribe. Debbie's going to follow here in just a few minutes with a video on a straightforward walkthrough of filling out the application. Thank you.